Hello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? Is that a goblin? Yeah, I saw the nose. Anyways, last episode I did mention that we're going to start working on Thaumcraft, and that's exactly what we're going to do. However, before we start, let me try to explain to you why is it that we're trying to get into Thaumcraft. Well, we're in Thaumcraft. We are going to work on more advanced stuff, like proper Infusion. So first off, I love magic mods, and this is my favorite magic mod, so there's that. Secondly, even though this is a very technical mod pack, Thaumcraft is going to provide us with a massive boost. How you're asking? Well, there are some magic generators from GregTech, which you need Thaumcraft in order to craft them. For example, this guy is going to give you 1 amp of EV with just a dragon egg, for free, forever. Or it can also be a creeper egg from Mars. Then we have the magic energy converter, which is going to convert any type of shard that we get into energy. A garbage normal shard is equivalent to a Bunsen cell. Shards from forbidden magic are equivalent to 720,000 EU. And it's very easy to automate because we have a mob farm in the nether with cursed earth, and we're generating these things in very large quantities. Then there is something called Everburn Urn. I can actually craft this guy right now, but basically this guy provides you with free lava. So there are very useful and important things that we can make using Thaumcraft, also including ender chests and ender tanks. And since we are working on a brand new base, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run a cable from our underground base to the Thaumcraft base. I have absolutely no idea how far we should go, but that purple thingy over there is the glass on top of my terminals. That's me, and that's the new base. And I want to be able to auto-craft there, so I do need to have a cable. Or a quantum ring, but that's gonna be expensive. Seems to be around 150 blocks. Cool. Now we have to go up. And it's also really amazing to dig through granite with a jetpack. Oh, there are mobs. Oh, we're out. Okay. We're good. Let's just take a nap. My auto-crafting systems are not the best, and we're going to need a few terminals. So let's just make a bunch of illuminated panels. 10 to be exact. And now I should be able to make the rest of the terminals. We also need terra crystal plates. You know, in order to make the arcane crafting terminal. That's what we need anyways. I have made our terminals. We have the arcane crafting terminal. It's kind of weird you need an arcane table in order to craft it in an arcane table. It took me the longest to remember how to make an arcane table. For symmetry purposes, we also have a pattern terminal and also an interface terminal. There is going to be one more here later on. But the most important thing is that I have brought a P2P tunnel, and voila. Once the system kicks in, we should have access, hopefully. Is it out of render distance? It's not that far. Yeah, we have access. Perfect. Using our brand new arcane terminal, we can craft the final terminal. Essentia terminal. Thank you. That will eventually tell us how much essentia we have in our system, but obviously we don't have any essentia in our system at this very moment. But it will be fixed, don't you worry. I also want to have an independent system in order to read how much ethereal essence we have available in our system. It's going to be storage drawers, so I brought our inventory panel. Our inventory panel is going to work with nutrient distillation, and since we have a decent mob farm, I was thinking we make it over there, use ender tanks in order to transfer it wherever we want. Because here's the thing, the inventory panel is there, later on I might need a killer Joe. Alright guys, I added a Sterling generator which is getting coal from our mob farm, and I also added a vat which is supposed to make us nutrient distillation if it receives sugar. The problem is that the production of sugar is very slow. And yeah, there is an ender tank on top which is for nutrient distillation. The ender tanks in this mod pack have been buffed so they can hold like 256 buckets. And I also worked on our storage for ethereal essence. Although I just wanted to mention it's totally disproportionate. But we are in this for the long game, so ethereal essence will build up over time. Again? Yeah, you see, you get trophies when you break something. No clue why I have nausea and no clue why there's a zombie here. Oh, hi. So many zombies. I put a monster repellator under there and it's unpowered, so I thought there are not going to be any zombies. Clearly I was wrong. Anyways, we are going to reassemble our runic matrix over here, and the hole that you see down there is for stability. And I forgot how to assemble it. Okay, that should be correct, right? Yeah. Why do I have an extra pedestal? Did I drop something? Oh yeah. So the runic altar, based on what it is crafting, is going to cause instability. How do we counter that? We need stabilizers. If you search stability in the JEI, it will tell you what items can be used. So I have received 2 very important tips. One of them is that the area that this guy is going to look for stabilizers is a 17 by 17 by 8. So it's a massive range. And the other tip that I received is that each one of these items that you provide the runic matrix is going to counter the instability by 0.1. So for example, this recipe has instability of 5, meaning that it needs 50 stabilizers. This is called Ancient Bricks. It's from Thaumic bases and it can be used as a stabilizer. I wanted to use it for building, so we have I think 1.5 stacks, but it's fairly cheap to make. I have made 3 layers of the Ancient Bricks and we have 1 layer of skulls. So it's a 13 by 13 by 4 cube. So it's good. I don't really know how to make it more stable other than going down a few more blocks. Or maybe, I don't know, put a few things on top. So our main goal for today is to automate the runic altar using the Infusion provider from Thaumic Energistics. And it's literally the only research that I haven't done. Anyways, it's still far away. So we're not going to store everything in jars, we want to use digital storage. And well, to be honest with you, they're not cheap at all. And in order to get there, we need to do so much work. A crazy amount of work. But we do need to distill some essentia. And yeah, we do have a decent supply of jars. Not everything is also going to be fully automatic, but let us also set up some patterns. Hello. In order to make the essentia storage component, the 1K, you need essentia processor tier 1. Then you need the essentia circuit. Then you need engraved Lapetron chip, which is a Lapetron crystal. Wow, that's actually quite expensive. So let me try to make some patterns. I'll be right back. Actually, now I understand why it's so expensive, because, well, you don't need to have that many of them. But you do need to have a decent supply of Silas Mundus, so I'm making some balance shards. Yeah, apparently it was easier than I was expecting, so let's get a few 1K storage cells. Yeah, exactly, we don't need that much. So, that is a 4K ME Essentia storage component. Honestly, the housing is the most important thing because you need warded glass. So I'm going to use my own focus. Wait, it doesn't consume the focus. Ew. I didn't know that. I thought I have to craft a bunch. So ladies and gentlemen, this is not going to be a horrifying project. It's going to be super cheap and easy. Where's the 4K? We have Essentia storage. For the moment, we don't really have a dedicated drive, so you go in there. Oh, it has a different color. Nice. So now instead of playing with jars, we can just have an import bus. Oh, you need so much. Okay, Ordo. I think this part is just meant to be annoying. Otherwise, you don't really need to use that many plates. So if nothing has gone wrong, that should be my Essentia import bus. We can just hook it up to our Arcane Olympic and we just need a cable connection. That's it. So from now on, we don't actually need to have jars anymore, I suppose. Everything should go into our system. Yeah, precisely. We can also make everything go a bit faster by using some Arcane Bellows. Bellow to you too. Yeah, now it's working faster. Oh, we need a acceleration card. I made the acceleration cards and then I realized I made a teeny tiny boo-boo. Don't make the same mistake that I did, because yeah, you don't really need to have a 4K, because it can only hold 12 types of essentia, so it's better to go with 1K, at least to get yourself started with, otherwise you can go with whatever you want. I don't know, by default I thought it's going to hold 63 items, like normal cells. I added a few more cells and we have a decent supply of essentia, and I thought maybe we should do our first arcane infusion. We're going to start making the essentia provider. For something like the crucible, it's going to be very useful, because instead of adding tubes and jars, it's going to take the essentia from our system. Let us hope everything goes well. Wow, whoa. Hi. And let's hope I have all the essentia. I never paid attention, that's quite resource intensive, that took a while. But we're getting the items and that's good, and nothing has gone wrong. So far. I think we're stable. What was the instability? 8. Okay, that's cool. We have it. And now that we have it, I have gathered all the essentia, all the items, and we're going to make the essentia provider. If I have not messed it up, this is literally going to be our last manual infusion. But so far so good, it's actually quite stable. Yeah, we're done. Without a hiccup. Come on, any second, that should be the last item. Amazing. We have it. So from now on, no more jars. I'm going to put this under the matrix, and I have a hole down there for getting the cable. And I'm running low on covered cables. We will use Fluix. We just need one channel. I'm really hoping I have done everything correctly, but we will see. In order to test if everything works, we're going to start making a beacon. And yeah, we don't have any jars. So will it work? Yeah, it's getting the essentia. That's good. I just checked. We have all the essentia. So really, no more jars. Awesome. There's also an advanced version which I think makes everything easier, but I'm not sure if we're there yet. Oh, no. Oh, ZPM. Wow, okay. Never mind. This is good. You need to craft so many things that in this mod pack I don't think it's worth it to go with jars. This is the best way. I like jars. Oh, and by the way, the reason that I made a beacon is that in order to make the energy converters or the generators, that's what we need. The rest of them should be relatively easy. It's EV tier circuits, we can auto-craft them. Oh, you're eating the items. Nice. Yeah, that's our beacon. Perfect. And that is a quest. So just out of curiosity, well, now that we have everything, the essentials are cheap. Can I have my first magic converter? This is going to be high voltage. Wish it would work faster, but what can you do? Yeah, I was worried about this one, but I have 300. You get it from redstone, so it's not a big deal. Seems we're done, without a hiccup. Okay. We are very stable. Thank you for the quest. So these machines are actually quite amazing if you have access to shards. And well, thanks to our cursed earth mob farm in the nether, we have access to tons of shards. Yeah, each one is equivalent to 2 Bunsen cells. Wow, that is great. My fellow Dark Ones, just to do a very small recap, what we're doing is that we're killing the wisps. We're getting ethereal essence. That is going to be useful for incredibly rare essentials like Vithium and Aurum. We have made a system so that we can store the essentials in our applied Energistics system instead of having jars. We have an arcane terminal which we can craft everything inside here and we don't need a workbench. I have added way more alchemical furnaces so that we would be able to process the essential faster. There are better versions, but unfortunately they're gated. So for the moment, we're just going with quantity. So we have 3 on that side, 3 on this side. And we have the infusion provider so that we would be able to provide essentia to our arcane infusion. You know, without jars. The essentia smelters are going to cook. Essentia goes inside the arcane Olympic. We import them using essentia import buses. And as for the crucibles, I have hooked them up to essentia providers. You just hook it to the top block, that's it. So we have some void seeds, which is very important. Once you have a decent amount of warp, the Eldritch tab is going to be unlocked. It's called the Eldritch Revelation, and you can craft everything that you want, including void metal. So I have just crafted some void seeds. We can convert them into void metal, and you might notice it's automatic, which is perfect. And we have a hungry chest. Well, actually 2 of them, because they're fun. It's a hopper. Basically. The reason that I made void metal is that in order to make the Grandmaster magic energy absorber, which is going to give us an amp of EV, we need 2 void metal plates. However, then I remembered the reason that I did not make the quantum armor, apart from it being surprisingly expensive, is that yeah, that also required void plates. And at that time, the Eldritch Revelation was not revealed to me. But now that it has, I was thinking, should we get the quantum armor? Because I'm actually really unhappy with the nanosuit. You see, we have almost 775,000 RF in our boots, right? I take fall damage and 40,000 is gone. Actually more, 60,000 is gone. So I can fall 10 times. So I'm assuming the quantum armor is going to be way more useful because it has 10 times the capacity. However, I have been thinking the quantum suit is very expensive because what you need is quantum parts. You know, you need the helmet, you need the legging, you need the chest plate, whatever. So the chest plate, the boots and the leggings are not a big deal, but the helmet is actually a pain because I need to make a brand new nano helmet. I converted mine into goggles and well, I can't take it back. Hello Warp. Thank you for letting me know that you're still here. Anyways, long story short, quantum parts are part of EV loot bags. And I have some IV as well, so let's try to fortune them. I converted all the EV ones into IV. Wait. Well, I can always claim some HV, convert them into EV, I guess. I gathered a bunch of high voltage loot bags, I converted them into extreme voltage, I also gathered some MV, converted them into high voltage, and that's our entire supply. These are the ones that have already been fortuned. I didn't fortune them, it was just a quest reward. Yeah, I only have like 11 EV loot bags, and I want a quantum helmet. That's not really gonna happen, right? Well, I have 25 IV, so we will see. Maybe that one will cheer me up. We need more books. So hi. You might notice my inventory is empty. I was under the impression that I'm recording and I was not recording. And no, we did not get the nano parts, although I did manage to get a talisman of remedium. I think it fights off warp. And again, it's not something super expensive, even though I haven't researched it yet, but we can make it. For the moment it's active, let's see if I get warpy. From the Ivy loot bags, I just opened 20 of them, and the only useful things that we got was another set of dimensional transceivers, which doesn't stack with the previous one. Is it because I placed the other ones down? Yeah, that was the problem. And we also got 4 ender chests, and also that thing, ender infused obsidian. But yeah, we also got some platinum wires, some titanium pipes, and also some tungsten pipes. The usual stuff, nothing that I really was interested in. A bit expensive, but yeah, I have made myself the quantum armor, not the chest plate. We have the quantum boots of the traveler, we have the goggles, and we have the pants. The reason that I did not upgrade the chest plate is that the quantum suit body armor does not have flight capabilities. And well, for that you need the Gravi chest plate, which this is the recipe for it. ZPM electronic motor. So apparently for our next tier of rocket, what we need is some kind of spacesuit, and the quantum armor provides that capability. And if it comes to that, I'll just make the chest plate. For now, I'm just gonna enjoy my jetpack. So anyways, moving on, our main goal is to make the Grandmaster magic energy absorber. That's going to give us 1 amp of EV using a dragon egg or a creeper egg from Mars. It also does require a few other gizmos which we will get, but for the moment, let's go to Mars. It's a good thing I checked I was not wearing an oxygen mask. Yeah, I think we're fine, and it's full of fuel. By creeper eggs, I just mean these guys. Thank you. Just out of extreme curiosity, are there more dungeons? There should be. Actually, there is another dungeon. Yeah, it's very close to the other one. Do you have creeper eggs? That's the main question. Yes, it does. Hello. We meet again. Oh my goodness. Stupid creepers. We don't really want to damage the eggs, is the main point. So that we get the maximum number of eggs. We're good. Plenty of eggs left. Wait, is there like... Oh, there's a chest. Rocket schematics. I take the eggs. I thought to myself, there can't be 1 or 2 dungeons, there should be infinite amount of dungeons, and yeah, this is the 3rd one. It's just that it's a bit hard to navigate. I should have changed my oxygen. I've been flying for a while. That's not a dead end, that's good. And those are extra creeper eggs. You broke it. It's okay, I'll kill you. I just wanted to see if there are more than 1 dungeon, and now that we know that there are, we can come back here whenever we want. Since we are on Mars, I thought to myself, maybe we should also get some scheelite. You know, for making tungsten. I'm also probably just going to go to Phobos, get some uranium, then I will see you back at the base. Alright guys, I'm back from Mars and we have some work to do. So first off, I got like 40 something creeper eggs, but we're obviously not going to make 40 of these machines because it's a pain to make. And to be honest with you, there are also a few items that we're missing in order to craft it even. One of them is also an aspect. This is the aspect. Stupidness. Yes. It's a fun aspect. I have checked and it seems the best way of making this aspect is through scrap boxes. So I have a recycler, I have a packager, and I have a drawer. The recycler is going to provide us with scrap incredibly slowly. The packager is going to make us scrap boxes. We don't really need that much. Another thing that we're missing is the high voltage field generator, which requires a brand new alloy that we haven't made, neobium titanium. Correction, we have made it, I don't remember for what. And it's also on auto crafting. Okay, give me 100. Thank you. We just needed like 8 pieces of neobium titanium and we already have it. I have also checked the aspects, we seem to be fine, so here goes nothing. It's a bit expensive. Oops, that's not good. Yeah, we just had a slight minor instability, but everything is functioning. Well, so far it's not really unstable, it's just that there's a ton of aspects and I think we're consuming 2 aspects per second, so this could take like 5-6 minutes, but just in case for the future, I'm going to add more stabilizers. I don't know, maybe we go 2 more rows or something? It seems we're almost done. 15 left. Don't mess it up, because that would be brutal. Gathering the essentials was incredibly difficult. Everything is there. I just saw a spark. Yeah, we're done. Thank you. We have it. So this machine is going to give us 1 amp of EV power. We are going to have a lot of these guys, but I think the first one I'm just going to use it in order to power my applied Energistics system. How did I get in here? But let's make a backup, just in case. How would you know if it's on? Particle effects? It's not really giving any power to the energy acceptor, even with a cable. Well, if I'm not wrong, we can make an extra ME controller. Okay. Let's see if it powers that one yeah, that works. So obviously you cannot have two controllers in one applied Energistics system, so we're going to use a quartz fiber that only transfers the power, and then we connect it to our cables. That should work. Yeah, this guy is now powering our system. Okay, I should probably move it. But I just wanted to know if the generator works, and it does. No, it didn't work. So the thing is, if you read the quest for the magic energy absorber, it will tell you that dragon eggs and creeper eggs, etc. However, what they failed to mention, which I discovered in a very horrible way, is that, yeah, if you don't use a dragon egg, you can only get the high voltage one. Hello? Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, for the Grandmaster Magic Energy Absorber, we need a dragon egg. And guess what? We had already killed the dragon, so yeah. Now it works and it gives us an amp of EV power. Our applied Energistics system, with all the controllers, interfaces, CPUs and drives, is consuming somewhere around 1,200 EU per tick. So that guy can easily cover it, and we can even double our applied Energistics system. In any case, we have a problem. This is 1.7, that's the only dragon egg. And I don't really think you can respawn the dragon, there's not even an end crystal. You can respawn the dragon thanks to Draconic Evolution. There is a resurrection thingy. Yeah, resurrection stone. Which is not gonna happen. Long story short, this is going to be the only Grandmaster Magic Energy Absorber that we can have until we would be able to obtain more dragon eggs. There are actually two methods of obtaining extra dragon eggs, one of them is through bees. And obviously we're not there yet. And the other method is through a process for getting enriched draconium egg. That is also not going to happen because of this, mutagen. Well, it is going to happen after we get a few amps of LUV power. Do I feel unhappy? Not really, because with the creeper eggs I can still operate a master magic energy absorber, which is going to give me 1 amp of high voltage. And you know, I can still make the energy converter, which gives me an amp of high voltage. And these are the things that I mainly wanted anyways. All I'm saying is that that amp of EV was kind of a bonus. So why do I want these things? Good question. For making Bunsen. Currently we are wasting a ton of Bunsen in order to make Bunsen, and if we have a different fuel source which is basically powered with junk, then our Bunsen production will be improved drastically. And besides, with a Master Magic Energy Absorber with a Creeper Egg on top, you can have localized power, which is great in this mod pack. You don't need ender tanks, you don't need pipes, you just need a Creeper Egg with a machine. All of that being said, let's try to optimize our fuel production, because fuel is my limiting factor in order to progress. So first off, I have banked a decent amount of fuel, and if anything goes wrong in the process, we can still recover. Secondly, we need to categorize everything into a few sections. The first section is resource gathering. I need to make a few brand new machines in order to optimize my fuel production, and all of them require an alloy called tantalloy. And as the name suggests, it does require a ton of tantalum. There are absolutely no more manganese veins near our base, and that is our entire supply of tantalum. And the way that we're going to fix that is that we're going to try and use byproducts. For example, ilmenite inside a chemical bath with sulfuric acid. Well, obviously it gives us rutile, but it also gives us ilmenite slag dust. That inside the centrifuge has a 20% chance of giving us tantalum. And guess what? We have tons of ilmenite. And sulfuric acid is recyclable, so not a big deal. Our next task is obviously to get more nether stars, because I need to make a lot of beacons. Obviously, the second phase is to get all the components that we want. For example, beacons. We need the beacons in order to make our generators. That's almost the first beacon, and I think there's like 20 more to go. I need way more nether stars, I'm aware of that. And to be honest with you, the beacon is the most difficult part because it does require a ton of essentia, but thankfully our ethereal essence is good for that. Converting it into a generator is, yeah, resource intensive, but way cheaper on essentia. When the infusion altar is working for like 6 hours, you don't really have anything to do, right? So hi, I tried to use my time productively, and I didn't want to leave the infusion altar alone. It's not finished, there's not much inside, but at least it's no longer an eyesore. Especially if you stand over here, where the details are not very visible. Anyways, we have what we need. Let's move on to phase 3, crafting the brand new machine. Well, this phase seems to be the easiest one, because I only had to craft 4 industrial coke ovens. Now comes the hard part. I have to remove everything. And they're gone. Almost everything minus the tanks. And I have also assembled the 4 industrial coke ovens, and all of them are being powered by a master energy absorber. So they are going to work at high voltage, and also I decided to make a basement for piping and cables. It's not finished yet, I'm still digging. The industrial coke ovens have heat-proof coke oven casings, so they should do 24 recipes at the same time. So let us try everything without nitrogen and see how it goes. How fast do you work? 6.4 seconds, that's actually not that bad. It's just that it's not as fast as I was hoping. I need 2 more. Or maybe we just provide 2 of them with nitrogen, then that's going to make it work a lot faster, right? Yeah, half the time. That's a good yield. Also, I might as well use some of my nitrogen. I'm wasting all of that. We have warp, so we have a friend. Anyways, in total we are producing 4.5 buckets of wood tar inside 2 coke ovens. That coal tar is going to be converted directly into benzene. I'm not sure if my calculations are correct or not, but it takes 6 distilleries to convert all of that coal tar into benzene. Okay, that's already faster than I was producing benzene previously, so can't really find anything to complain about. But this is the first phase. It should be around 1100 liters per second. Yeah, it seems that my calculation was correct because 2 of them are flickering. The reason for that is that we are actually producing 50 millibuckets less than what we should in order to operate all 6 of them at the same time. So that is some extra benzene that we are producing. That's not very important. The 3rd industrial coke oven is going to give us charcoal byproducts, and you might notice a bit of a problem. It's working too fast. So in high voltage, it takes me 2 seconds in order to process 1 bucket of charcoal byproduct, and we're getting 2.5 buckets. It's not really a big deal, it's just that we have to waste some of that or convert it into something else, for example extra wood vinegar. It does give me more acetone. I just went up ahead and assembled 5 more distillation towers for processing charcoal byproducts. Since we are getting a crazy amount of charcoal byproducts, I actually have 2 distillation towers processing it. And as you guys remember, charcoal byproduct gives us wood gas, it does provide us with wood vinegar as well as wood tar. All 3 of them go inside 3 different distillation towers, and yeah, I'm not sharing walls. For 3 of them, it's actually quite difficult to do that, and it won't look symmetrical. Because no matter what you do, one of them is always thinking, hey, I have 2 maintenance hatches. Oh, and by the way, the section in the middle that you see in front of you with the oil cracker is the section that I have to remove and relocate later on. So these things over here are not actually what I made today. Anyways, minus the coal tar, which has to do something with the oil cracker, we're processing everything else from wood. That's the chemical part, but now we need to focus on actual benzene. Ah, the tank is full. Okay. Yes, as I was saying, now we need to focus on the actual benzene. True, we are actually making some over here, which is equivalent to 1 bucket per second, and a mediocre amount at that distillation tower, which is, I don't know, like 200 liters per 2 seconds. Yeah, it's like 200 liters every 2 seconds. So that's not much. Our main source of benzene is actually going to come from charcoal, right? You know, in the costume distillation tower that I made according to your instructions in, I don't know, 2 or 3 episodes ago. Basically what we need to do is to extract wood tar from charcoal inside a fluid extractor and then distill it using single block machines because, well, they're more energy efficient. We are getting around 12 charcoal per second, and that means that if I want to process it in a distillation tower like that, I'm going to need at least like 18 or even 20 fluid extractors. That together with the generators is going to be like 50 machines, then you need cables, you need conduits, you need connections, and I think that's going to cause lag. We're not even close to lagging, I'm just thinking ahead. So instead of using like 50 machines, I was thinking we get the large fluid extractor. It's a multi-block. It's just one machine, but a very expensive machine. Because you might notice out of this entire tower, the only thing that we ever need are the distilleries. So by making the multi-block, 70% of this tower is going to be redundant. The reason that I'm calling this machine expensive is that it does require some sort of a superconductor coil. This is the MV one. What if we go with the high voltage one? Yeah, I'm not really sure if it's a horrifying investment or not, but let's make it. Doesn't seem that horrifying, so that's an advanced fluid extractor from the EVH. We don't really have that many circuits left, so I ordered some. How long does it take? It's done. Well, that's fine by me. Large fluid extractor. The controller. Thank you, thank you. Now, this guy is also going to need 52 robust tungsten steel machine casing. And I'll be honest with you, I don't have that much Tungsten steel, do I? Okay, so this is something that somebody suggested in the comments, that I put the interface, the terminal on the applied Energistic, on sort by number of items. I did it for him, but I'm very sorry, this is very irritating for me, because if I want tungsten steel, I take one stack out, and then it moves. I take one more, maybe a bit more, and then it moves. We just go with item names. I'm sorry, I tried, it happens a lot. So again, my auto crafting system is not fully complete, but can I have 52? Okay, I can. But for the moment, let's go with 46, because you never need that much. We need the borosilicate glass, which is going to be high voltage. I think we will go with that. That will limit how much energy you can provide the machine, and we're going with a high voltage generator anyways. For the coils, we're going to go with high speed steel, G, because we have changed it on our blast furnaces. Now we need the superconductor. The rest are garbage. That will allow the machine to do everything in parallel, and I was hoping we go with EV. Is that too expensive? It's not that expensive, and we only need like 7. I'm thinking it's not that expensive. It could be. So far it hasn't been that expensive. I made 27 of them, but it's incredibly annoying. Wait, I just clicked on you and there was something in it. Dish. I already had the hatches. One of the things that we need is liquid helium, so I needed the vacuum freezer to process some fluid. I don't really know how much we need. Okay, so far we have 45 and 30 more wires are prepared. It needs tungsten fluid pipe, it needs a pump, it's just expensive. Wait a minute, I need like 7 and it has to be double wires? Oh boy. Should have not gone with the EV one. You know, some of the costs are just crazy in this mod pack. For example, in order to make this superconductor, I'm going to need this coolant cell, right? I need 7 blocks, so it's 7 of them, that's 300 tin. Just for the coolant cell. If I have not done any miscalculations with the items that I needed, I think we're done, and it wasn't really that horrifying. Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're good. You just need 56 superconductors, that's it. You know, the double version. We already have 3. The rest are being made. I have assembled the machine, we're missing 6 casings. And that's it. Don't really know why I'm missing 6 casings. Doesn't make sense. Because it does say that it's going to need 52, I'm using 54. But I guess we will see. So is the structure complete? Good. It only has problems. Problems are good. So just out of curiosity, how fast are you gonna work? So it does give us 4.2 buckets of wood tar every second. That's actually quite good. So now I can calculate how many distilleries I want. So I have made my custom distillation tower, I'm removing those distilleries, and we have 8 MV distilleries over here with a few gas turbines. I have set up filters using Enderio conduits, and let us try something. The thing is, I might have to add more coke ovens, but I'm not exactly sure. Because the gist of it is, I'm not actually getting enough charcoal to consistently run the extractor. But let us check. So I have hooked up the coke ovens as well as the extractor to our distillation tower over here. And all of the distilleries are working, all 8 of them. So how fast are we making Bunsen? That's not bad. So previously I did a miscalculation with the coke ovens. This is not per second. This is per second. So the extractor is actually our main source of Bunsen, because it gives us 4.2 buckets. These guys on the other hand are giving us less than a bucket. Well, together 1.4 buckets. However, we are having a bit of a problem. Charcoal cannot keep up. It's already gone. That means the extractor cannot constantly run, and that's not great. Okay, so I have been thinking. I do think a lot. Yeah. So first off, this is the rate that we're making Bunsen, and this is going to be constant. Because the amount of wood tar is climbing rapidly, and well, I can even have one more set of distilleries like this one. So the rate of Bunsen production that you see over here can be doubled, which is, I think, going to be amazing. You know, I'm saying all of this with our shortage of charcoal. But based on the numbers on the extractor, we're going to need 42 charcoal per second in order for that guy to constantly run. With our coke ovens, we're only producing 25 per second. If I add 2 more coke ovens, which are going to give us wood tar, then we're good, because that's going to produce 43 charcoal per second, while we're using only 42. So until I make a decision if I want to add more coke ovens or not, there is something else that we should be able to do. It has been on my hotbar for a while, I don't mind crafting it. So we need a field generator, EV, and I think we should have everything. Yes. Quantum Tank Mark 1. That's not a quest? Apparently not. So the good super tanks that we have can hold 8,000 buckets of something. This guy can hold 128,000 buckets. That's obviously going to be for Bonzen. Also, let me think what I should do. A few hours later, for me it's actually the next day, and yes, we have 4 more coke ovens. They're sharing walls because they wouldn't fit within one chunk. Something that I never knew is that in addition to sharing walls, you can share input hatches, output hatches, and etc. You can't have that many of them though, so it's a bit complicated. But yeah, finally I have no more charcoal problem. I actually produce a lot. And I have 2 more custom-made distillation towers, which are making me Bonzen. And you want to see the rate? That's amazing. I'm actually quite happy with this one. It's really amazing. It's like 100,000 buckets. I didn't produce all of that. I was banking some fuel for a very long time. I put it in as well, but that's like, I don't know, 20% of that or something. But I'm assuming this is a decent number. I'm happy with this one. Another thing that you might notice is that there are no more tree farms. Where did it go? Well, at first I tried to put it in the Twilight Forest, but for some reason I can't chunk load it. I used personal anchors, but it wasn't working. So what I have done is that there is a lake like 2,000 blocks away from home, over here, and we have a quad spruce farm, whatever. I just put it over there for FPS issues. Other than that, there's no reason for it. We don't have any FPS problems. I just wanted to think ahead so that I don't have to move it later on. Another very important update is that we no longer have any blast furnace. We just have volcanus, or volcanuses, I don't really know, volcani. During this episode and the previous one, I have gone through millions of resources. So one of the things that I have to do in between the episodes is that I need to replenish my resources. I have been processing a ton of ores, well, over here. Well, everywhere actually, and I need to cook a ton of ingots, so let's make a few changes to our base. Let's start with the blast furnace area. So in order to smelt down ingots, one of the things that we always need is some sort of a gas. Oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, helium, whatever. And every time that I want to cook an ingot, what I have to do is that I have to come over here, check the fluid, take the old one out, and replace it. This was also available in the previous versions, I think. There is a quadruple input hatch. Capacity 64 buckets, can hold 4 types of fluid. It's a nice thing. It's gonna be a blood moon. Yeah. So let's craft one of these input hatches and see how it works. Just the one. You know, so that in case it's something horrifying, I can recycle the pipe. It's ready, and yeah, it's a blood moon. So, how do you work? Yeah, I don't really think it's going to be that great. Actually, for the purpose that I want it to, it can work if we use conduits from Ender.io. One of them is going to be for nitrogen, the other one is going to be for argon. Because anything that you can cook with helium, apparently you can also cook it with argon. We will have another tank for hydrogen that's going to be used for mainly Ender.io alloys. And then obviously some oxygen. So in the quadruple input hatch, we should get all of them, right? Exactly. If I need some sort of an extra fluid, I can add one more input hatch. So now when I'm cooking ingots, I don't really have to worry about the gases for a very long time. Another thing is that the volcanus is incredibly fast, and it does require 10 millibuckets of pyrotium for each operation. So this guy is making us steel, so every 11 seconds it does require 10 millibuckets of pyrotium. With one extractor we're barely keeping up, so maybe we should have 2 of them, because I just checked, the power consumption is only 240 EU per tick, so it's less than 1 turbine. Cool. That should double my production. We have 2 of them. Volcanus is amazing as long as the voltage requirement for a certain ingot is 1 tier lower than the minimum voltage required for that ingot. So meaning for something like iridium, which requires IV, it doesn't make a difference. It's like a normal blast furnace. So later on we are going to have blast furnaces other places with higher voltages. But I have also added a conduit with some filters so that I can transfer the hot ingots into the vacuum freezer. There is a filter from GregTech as well, but we don't have that many hot ingots at this very moment. And besides, it's a big filter. There's plenty of space. Another thing is that I don't really think there is any possibility of automating ingots using applied Energistics, meaning that you can't tell it, hey, make me an iridium ingot. You have to have it ready, so you have to craft everything in bulk, I guess. Well, at least where we stand. Later on, I have no idea. If I want to carry everything in bulk, awesome, it's gonna rain. Warp is horrifying. Anyways, as I was saying, the last time that I was playing this mod pack, in the previous version, there was a huge difference between input buses and input hatches. So yeah, still there is a difference between low voltage, medium voltage, and high voltage, but high voltage, extreme voltage, insane voltage, and even the LUV input bus, which we can't even craft, have a capacity of 16 stacks, and that's it. If you want something bigger, you have to go with super buses. So the LV super bus can hold half a stack of stacks. MV has 48 slots and high voltage has 1 stack of stacks. The problem is we can't make the high voltage one. Requires an LUV input bus, which is out of the question, but we can make the medium voltage one. It has a capacity of 48 slots. It's not really a super complicated thing to craft, it just requires weird things like blood steel. It has a lovely name, but it's just a combination of ignis and steel. And no, I'm not looking for ignis, I'm looking for the chest. I should really work on ore processing, I have too much ores. Cause every time I go mining, I process a bit, then more is always left. Sometimes I don't really pay attention to recipes, but apparently each super bus requires 5 conveyor belts. So that was fun. I have made 8 of them, and yes, there is a quest for it. However, it requires us to make the LV one. I'm going to change a few machines. Is it bigger? That's the same thing. Oh. Yeah, it is the same thing. I replaced them again. Ah, okay. It's like that then. Fine. I'm not exactly sure when, but maybe next episode I'm going to work on ore processing, so all of these machines are going to go. Where, I have no idea, but for some of the rare resources, we're going to need centrifuges, and I was thinking we should add 2 more. I don't want to dismantle these guys, so maybe we should make it over there? Somehow? The problem is I have the dungeon here. And I can't break these blocks. Yeah, I can't break it. It's okay. But will 2 centrifuges fit here? If we share walls? I think. Yeah, maybe for centrifuges, sharing walls is a bit ridiculous. Or maybe not. I'm not sure. But essentially, the centrifuges are going to take the junk that we have and convert it into something at least more useful. There are so many recipes in the centrifuge, and some of them are actually quite useful. Cause for example, this guy has like a garbage % chance of giving us tantalum inside the centrifuge with a teeny tiny bit of nitric acid. And you know, also magnesium and manganese. But if you electrolyze it, you just get silicon dioxide, which I have no idea what to do with it, alumina dust and some manganese. I remember in the past you could have electrolyzed silicon dioxide to get silicon and oxygen, but it has been removed somehow. It's not that useful, I guess. Also, last episode when I was working on storage components, some of you guys suggested, I'm sorry, over there it's a bit loud, some of you guys suggested that I make the storage components inside the circuit assembler. It does seem to be a bit cheaper if we do that inside the circuit assembler, but remember, we either need soldering alloy and we also need a coated circuit board. I don't have any production of resin, but our mob farm is giving us magma cream. If I centrifuge it, yeah, we're going to get blaze powder and slime balls. Okay, so maybe in between the episodes I will try to do that, don't you worry. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.